Greetings and welcome to the Battlefield 3 Dev commentary. This run was made as part of a charity event to raise money for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. It is provided free of advertisements, and instead I would like to ask that if you enjoy this content, please consider leaving a small donation. You will find a link to the donation page on screen and in the video description. Enjoy! And Kaffarov. This was known as SP Villa during the development.
So you lost most of your unit in the valley against the Russians. Who survived?
Montez and myself, Cole, some others.
Did Captain Cole get you guys killed?
What? No.
Isn't that how you felt about it? Deep down? You know, in Bosnia I lost 4 of my closest friends. Rocket attack. The guy that was on OP was sleeping. I was fucked up for 6 months. Thought about killing him. We all talked about it. I still think about how he failed us. I'd feel sorry for you, but I feel more sorry for your buddies. Because they never knew who you really were.
They would have understood.
Would you? Would you understand turning on your buddy? For the enemy?
The Russians weren't our enemies.
They killed your fucking friends!
Hold on. Now, at the same time you were in the field in Iran, we intercepted burst transmissions between Dima and his handlers in Kiev. He was in Iran as well. Why was Dima in Iran with the Russians?
So, this is our last of our flashbacks into what happened in Iran before we go back into now, pretty much. And this is SP Villa, and you're back in Dima's shoes, and we're doing an airdrop, which is pretty cool. This is again just like more military porn.
Красный включен. Дима, спасибо форму.
And here we go. Single people. There's a lot of mean stuff being said in chat. There are a lot of different reasons why things don't turn out as you wish, but there's still a bunch of highly talented people working on it. If you don't like it, that's on you, but I think it's unfair to say it universally sucks. But yeah, go ahead and blame me. I have a big part of the responsibility for the whole campaign. And of course, again, this is all smoke and mirrors. The stuff you see while you're falling through the clouds and above the clouds is nothing about what you see down here. It's all fake. The last bit of cloud that you go through is a bit thicker, so you can't see it. And then we switch everything to the appropriate thing.
Пока не добрались до машины. Копейками не заполняй ее. По моей команде. 1, 2, 3.
Terrain is usually the smallest problem. We have a lot of solid terrain in levels. The problem tends to be stuff that isn't terrain, like objects and stuff. So you'll find just empty areas, like pieces of the map are just not there. Which platform is better, Steam or Origin? So, to me, Steam is better, but that's just because I have more stuff on Steam. Systemically, I like Steam's interface better, but I don't necessarily think that there's in functionality that much difference between them anymore. So Origin actually, even despite its tons of complaints, Origin actually has a few things that speak for it. The FOB question I've already answered before. I will be putting up the archive of this on my YouTube channel, by the way. I will split it up per mission and post it on YouTube, so... So yeah, and we have both of them with us again, and that is because this is earlier than the previous mission that we played in Paris. So if you're trying to understand the actual timeline of BF3's campaign, you've got to jump quite a lot through hoops and things to figure out which thing comes before what. And yeah, we're playing, if I recall correctly, we're playing two different characters through this mission.
Давай, будем делать.
Готовься.
Ворота!
Что ты ждешь? Что ты ждешь? Давай, 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 ну. Бля. Вот, белый.
Bioscanner, yep. So here's where stuff starts going wrong for us.
Жди моей команды. Жди, жди, жди. 3, 2, 1, давай.
So yeah. The QuickTime events are, they're not difficult, they're just there. This, of course, also is just sound. There's nothing actually there. It's pretty fun.
Sir, enemy forces confirmed on the ground. Are they American? We don't know. We'll know shortly.
Oops. It's not who I meant to shoot. Oh well, that's a good time to answer some questions then. What do I think about the Origin game time accounts and before they're hacking so much? I don't know exactly, how do I say this? I don't think that not, providing like a trial weekend or something like that, just because some people are hacking, is a good answer to that problem. Because that's the answer I've seen people posting about. That said, of course, it's a problem. And it's one that would be great to fix. But yeah. Yep. There's a lot of scripted, like, shoot here stuff in this campaign. And that's generally good introduction that, like, there's an RPG guy here, you should take him out. You, like, focus on this guy, and you can see the trail, and you see where he is. but if you accidentally like run into it, it's not so good because you just get gibbed. So I'm just gonna go right hand side instead. Let's reach the star. Yeah, the reaching animation is pretty funny. I don't actually know exactly what the first person animations are. See, in this case I just got the information that there's somebody up here to care about. Oops. Most of the stuff is based on mocap, but it's hard to tell because I'm not an animator. I work a lot with them, but I am not an animator myself, so I don't keep track of exactly what's what. Be some hand-keyed stuff. There's that guy. There we go. See it, QWERTY.
What do I pay you for? Don't let that fool pass that wool house.
We're close to Dice Lake. Well, depends on what you're working on. If you're working on a project that they're also working on, or with stuff in common with them, then we work closely with them. It's basically the same as within the teams of just our studio. It's the same thing, like, it's the sake my team, the Mirror's Edge team, and the Battlefront team. We work closely on some things because there are things in the engine or stuff that we do together. But like with the can't see a thing, it's all flowers. Right. But yeah, the stuff that you don't have in common, then you pretty much don't hear from them. But yeah, all the teams within EA that use Frostbite do collaborate to some degree. If I had a chance to change anything in the E3 theme, that's a bit of a problematic question, because the thing that I am unhappy about in the single player is the core of the design. Like the way the single player is built is extremely linear, right? So when we built BF4, the intent was to change that, to give you a bit more freedom to build bigger combat spaces, more arena-like fighting. You don't have to care about the wall, just slurp right through it, that's fine. Favorite Ubisoft game? That is a good question.
Подожди, пускай они подойдут нам. Дима на крыше, обеспечь наблюдение. Кирилл, ты и я снаружи. Я видел дверь сзади нас, справа.
Right, and you're going to go here. Okay. Ah, come on. Yeah, pretty much. BF4 was made specifically to be more open because none of us were happy with how linear this thing was. So, yeah. Oh, that's them.
Yeah.
Let's try that again. Right, let's move on. The kind of interesting thing is here you're sort of fighting his private security force. You're fighting so many different styles of enemies in this game, and the weird thing is you never really notice the difference between them because they're all like, pretty much the same behavior, but they're all different visuals and stuff. So. I was this only single player weapon. Well, any weapon that you want that much is probably like a good reason to be a single player only because it'd be hard to balance it in multiplayer.
They've reached the villa. All units, defend the back wing.
Враг движется слева. Прикрой меня, я выхожу.
Oh. Let's go up here then.
Враг движется слева.
Can't remember this, but I think it's much better to actually go around the outside. Alright, I think this is a case of me starting to get ever so slightly tired. We are almost all the way through this game, so it's not so strange. It is a fairly long game.
Враг движется слева.
That could help. I'll try this the super careful way. I have a bit to go, but it's not all that much. I have quite a lot to go in terms of the stream as a whole. That is expected. Right, yeah. Caught up just as I said it. Stream will be fine though. I have a pretty good feeling that this guy just fell over and died because we killed him when you killed enough people.
Мы должны обойти дом, чтобы пройти на вертолетную площадку.
Дима, очисти верхний этаж. Кирилл со мной.
This is a problem we had with this mission. There's a lot of this. You go that way, we'll go this way. And it was really hard to communicate that with players. I'm running out of ammo, that's not good. There we go. That's problem fixed. And let's look. Okay. And then coming down here, this is another of those sort of problematic sections.
Where's the helicopter? On the way. Trouble with Russian jets. Americans are closing in.
This cargo was a big, like, we want this to be this kind of gameplay, but it just turned out incredibly difficult if you don't know the things where they are. So we had to introduce this little side path, and then you get this angle on the things, which turned out pretty decent, I think. It's just one of those things you end up with problems sometimes, and you go like, the geometry is very important for how you can actually play a level. So sometimes you have to, you get the kind of encounter you want, but it turns out a certain way in terms of how you can move, and then you have to change the geometry of moving just to keep the intention of how. Whoa. It's also pretty nice to be sort of fighting through this kind of environment. It's a nice luxury resort ship thing out there.
Дима, давай!
Yeah, you're right, this section is pretty hard, but it's also near the end of the game, so it is more okay that this section is hard. They're just shooting at nothing. You can see a typical example of it. They just run back if you progress enough. Again, we're required to go somewhere else, and that was okay, while we still have them talking sort of Russian English style. But then when we switched them to actually speaking Russian, it kind of became a bigger problem, because suddenly you don't immediately understand where you're supposed to go anymore. And you have to read the subtitles for them to explain what you're doing. This room is a pretty difficult combat scenario sometimes. That sounded bad. Okay, it's downstairs.
Kaffarov is on the way to the helicopter. Hold them off and then pull back to the main gate.
Как туда добраться? План показывает дорогу внизу.
Kicks the wrong side of the door. It's pretty funny. What do I get? What do I get?
Вниз, давай, давай, двигай.
Okay. Funny thing is, it doesn't really matter all that much at this point.
Where are they? They're upstairs.
Not let friendly AI die in combat like you would. It's not a question about difficulty like that, it's a question about making a story where you have to have certain characters. And there's been a lot of thinking about whether we should have pretty much the Call of Duty style, where they just, there's a bunch of nameless guys that just show up and fight on your side. And the thing we always end up with is, let's do that, but let's do that for characters who aren't specific to the story. But yeah, if you'd fail when they died, you have far too little control over that.
Там была дверь сзади. Дима, посмотри, можно ли их обойти. Дверь пару метров сзади.
I can't remember where to go. Yeah, you're going back. This way. Interesting piece of... Oh, that was quick. There's a section here with a bunch of sort of target dummies. So you're going through and you're fighting enemies while there's this target dummies popping up and stuff. It's the same kind of stuff that is on the practice range for BF4. It's kind of funny. I've seen worse this time. We have a bunch of problems with them.
Давай, давай, двигай.
Take this one instead. And now excuse me for a little bit. There we go. Please don't spam.
Where are they? They're upstairs.
it's a case of them just running straight in front of you, and you kind of, it's hard to avoid shooting them. I do not play CS. No. Oh, this is an interesting break in the music. His thought behind this encounter was that it is a almost completely dark encounter, and that you have to use thermal and that kind of stuff. And it turned out a bit interesting because there's nothing that prevents you from actually exchanging this weapon for something else. So yeah.
Can't be. How could 3 men do this?
Там была дверь сзади. Дима, посмотри, можно ли их обойти.
Storyline. So I will agree with Dave on that. The only storyline that really, so here's the target dummy stuff. The only storyline that truly spoke to me in Battlefield was the Bad Country one. I believe there's something, you get an achievement or something if you shoot down all of these. I am almost exclusively a PC player. The only games I play on console are the games that don't exist on PC. Pretty much. And I don't know, it's just a traditional thing. It's the way I've been playing since, like, forever. And I like the setting. A lot of people are like, oh, I want to sit in my couch and play. I don't. I like the fact that I'm sitting in front of a computer, I can talk to my friends, like me and my girlfriend can play together because we have a computer by ourselves, but we don't have to have like split screen co-op or something on a big TV. It's I don't know. I've always been a PC player. Whoa, come on. We appear to not have a checkpoint in between either, so we'll get to redo the dark encounter first. I can see why racing games would be good on console, yeah. Alright, I'm just gonna stick with this weapon now. Whew. So yeah, we were talking about difficulty spikes before. This is definitely one. Suddenly you're just in a room with somebody with a shotgun who just kills you in those 2 hits and with fast firing weapons. Out of my way. Or just kill them, that works too. Need some dev hacks. Need them to have skills right now. That's a lot of guys. Racing games on a PC with a controller, yeah. So I don't mind controllers. Like, I used to really not understand them at all, but now we've been working with them for 10 years, so I mean, it's not a big problem for me. I play Rocket League on PC with a controller, so not a problem at all. I don't know. The setting is what I like with PC. Okay.
How could 3 men do this? Там была дверь сзади. Дима, посмотри, можно ли их обойти. Дверь пару метров сзади.
Looks like he went flying there for a second. No, it's I'm not saying like it's realistic or not. Realistic doesn't really matter when it comes to difficulty scaling and stuff like that. You just have to space. You put your enemies and stuff in a way that they become survivable easily. Like, I think that thing passes through walls, and there's actually not. There we go. So to me, it's not so much about realism versus something else in terms of the damage the weapons do and what you can take. It's more of a level layout problem. I'm also a person who will... Like, there's enough in whatever game you look at. That side entrance is a bad move, for instance. Whatever game you look at, there's always stuff that isn't realistic. Even for the most realistic games, there's always going to be stuff. So, if realistic is your only motivation for making something less fun to play, then I think you're doing something wrong. And that's surprisingly common. Like, especially for a game like Battlefield, where it's easy to go like, well, it's not realistic, and it's like that's like your get out of jail free card. You can always claim unrealistic as a reason, and you'll win the discussions because it's supposed to be realistic, right? But then in so many ways it's not realistic, and that to me is where problematic design sort of occurs when you start looking too much at that. Am I done? I desperately want a proper checkpoint. I am just, right now I'm being overly spammy with the bullets just to not end up having to do it again. There we go. That should have been... Quickly, yeah, well, that held us up for a bit here, my good sir. That should at least have been a checkpoint. Saving, good. Yeah, that's pretty much it, isn't it? Like, if you're going to complain about realism for one thing, you have to do it for everything, yes. And... like, people who have no problems with the fact that there is, like, that you are always carrying around an extra set of parachutes in Battlefield. You don't get to complain about other stuff not being realistic. Sorry, that's where my lane goes. And now we're just running. And it's quick time, event time. Realism, by the way, is not something we generally like use as a... Wow. It's a harsh music break. It's not something we use as motivations in Battlefield, because it's not supposed to be realism. The thing that we've been talking about a lot is like Hollywood realism, where you kind of want stuff to be believable, but yeah, it doesn't have to be realistic.
Listen, this key goes to a safe deposit box in Geneva. Take it. Take everything in it. I don't have them! Do you understand? It's not me you want. It's not... It's Solomon! Listen, I have information about Solomon. I know what he's planning. I know where the suitcases are going. Let's make a deal. My freedom for information. You let me go, I tell you everything. I tell you where Solomon is going. I know what he's doing and where...
Dima has no patience.
You drive there. You and whoever's left. You, Cole, Montez. Now, if I'm in your shoes, I'd be thinking about my friends. I'd be wondering what I could have done differently. I might even be wishing it had happened to me and not them. So you get to Kaffarov's villa, ahead of the main forces of Russians, ahead of everybody.
Not everybody.
Dima was there, wasn't he? And you made a decision. You made a fucking momentous decision about your life and your allegiance. About how much you're willing to do for your country.
You don't know anything about the decisions I had to make.
Tell us what it was then. Convince me.
We split up to search the villa. I was alone.
Yep. And suddenly we're back to the gates, and we're back in Blackbird's shoes, and we're coming up on the destruction that Dima and his friends have caused. Yep. And the villa is looking somewhat problematic.
Do not do anything stupid.
This piece of shit right there stole 3 nuclear devices from Russia and sold it to a man called Solomon.
Solomon's using the PLR. He has at least 2 targets, New York and Paris.
He's using public transit to move the weapons. He's going to detonate the New York device at Times Square very soon. This cannot happen. We can avert war between our nations. Just 2 of us. No politicians. No money changing hands. Just 2 soldiers speaking the truth. Help me. Help me to do this. That's it. I have to leave now. You don't shoot him. Millions will die.
Get down on the ground! I said get down on the ground!
Yep. So here's a decision that we debated for a long time. It is essentially a quick time event. You have to shoot. Oh wow, I didn't realize the checkpoint was this far back. It's funny, you can actually see some of the effects from everything breaking when you load back in, and it's supposed to be broken.
Do not do anything stupid.
Because of the way this is supposed to be the turning point where you sort of turn on your country and where everything goes wrong for you. You know, David was really adamant that you actually press the button to do that, but there's nothing really that indicates that you should do that. There were a lot of people who really wanted you to press that button there. I personally didn't like it. I would rather have it be just a part of the cutscene. But yeah.
Just 2 of us. No politicians.
Yeah, exactly what Jack Franks is saying there is exactly how I feel too. You have no choice. There's no... even if you do it once, there's just no even the illusion of choice.
You don't shoot him. Millions will die.
Get down on the ground!
Remember, do whatever you have to
So,
do.
since you don't actually have a choice,
Plan.
I would much rather see you not have a choice. But yeah. That is how we end up in the interrogation that we are in throughout the intro scenes for this game.